Ready?
I'll correct it.
Oh, there is.
There is none. No.
There is no H.
No H.
I see it. S-H-E-T-A.
Well, oh, I know it shouldn't be there.
Shebeta.
What do you mean?
That'd be more appropriate.
Commissioners, we are live, we are recording, we are streaming. Ms. Matthias, you may proceed with the public review session.
Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals Review Session for January 28th, 2025. Please note for the record that both Commissioner Sheta and Commissioner Shebeta will be joining us remotely. First item up is Appeals Calendar, New Cases, item number 23, 2024, 54A through 2024, 56A.
2023? I think.
2024.
Oh, you said 2023.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2024, 54A through 2024, 56A, apologize.
Yeah.
104, 106 Fleet Place and 165 Willoughby Street, Brooklyn.
We did receive proof of public hearing notice, but we did not, I at least did not see it on the file, proof of service of initial filing. I'm sure it has been
It came in
submitted.
yesterday.
It came in, I didn't see it.
I sent it to submit to,
Okay, all right, I'll look for it during the break.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it. Okay, so if we have it, that's great. I will look for it during the break. We do have a community board vote. Community board approved it. This is an application for a waiver of GCL 35 and waiver of bulk regulation pursuant to zoning resolution section 72-01G to build 3 residential buildings on lots that are partially located within the bed of a mapped street. This is an L-shaped site which has frontage on Fleet and also on Willoughby. It's really the Fleet Street frontage of the lot that is located in the bed of mapped street. And so the applicant is requesting a GCL 36. Back in 2006, a portion of Fleet Street was 35. It is 35. 36 all throughout the beginning?
no, just now you said
Just now.
36.
Okay, I'm sorry. In 2006, portion of Fleet Street width was widened from 50 to 60 feet on the west side. However, it was not improved. And city has not acquired the title to the 10-foot width portion of the map street bed of Fleet Street. Now, there are 2 buildings, existing buildings that are encroaching on this 10-foot portion of Fleet Street. And one of those buildings was before the board back in 2016 for a GCL 35. And the building is built. It consists of a 12-story residential building. And at that time, board had relied on a letter that was provided by EDC. And in this similar case, the applicant has submitted that EDC letter dating back from 2016, citing the impracticability of widening the Fleet Street. We have received no objection letter from DEP. We haven't heard anything from DOT or fire department. And we do have.
Yes.
This is Walgreens. We have details about some prescriptions that are delayed for
Commissioner Sheta,
opt out of automated pharmacy call.
somebody need to, Commissioner Sheta, you're,
Okay.
so I don't have any issues with this application. I think it is pretty, I don't see how city can acquire this portion of the 10-foot widening of Fleet Street without having to completely tear down the building that was built at the corner of Willoughby and Fleet Street, and also another pretty large commercial non-residential building that abuts the subject site. So I'm quite satisfied with this application. Vice Chair Shebeta.
Thank you, Chair. I'm also quite satisfied with this application.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
I have no question.
Thank you. Commissioner Shetta?
Thank you, Chair. I'm satisfied with the application, and just to make sure that I held it right, the only waiver before us is the GL 35, right?
It's GCL 35 and also the waiver of the bulk regulation pursuant to 7201 G for the buildings that will be partially located within the bed of the MAP street.
Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I'm also satisfied. The only comment I have, there's a typo in the second to last paragraph of the statement of facts that cites that former case is on lot 24, but the lot 24 is part of the subject site. That should have been, I think, lot 23. So just make that correction.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's my attention.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to the next case then.
Zoning calendar, continued hearing items, item number 24, 2023, 58 BZ, 19718 Hillside Avenue, Queens.
Okay, applicant has revised the submission pursuant to the new zoning resolution section 7331 for drive 73-311 for drive-through facilities. A revised statement of facts and findings also has been submitted. The revised plan now includes a 8-foot high opaque fence with a STC rating of 26 along the rear and the 2 side lot lines. Regarding the placement of the pylon, the plans have been corrected to indicate that the pylon pole will be within the subject site and the sign will extend 1 foot 6 inches from the front lot line. The renderings were not that perfect, but I think the plan is what is critical. So as long as the plan is correct, we may not even, I think those plans, the rendering should not be stamped. The plans should be stamped. Okay. So just going through the findings, even though we did go over the findings pursuant to the previous zoning resolution section, but we have to go through the process. So just going through the findings of ZR 73311, the app with regards to A, which is that it contains reservoir spaces. The 14 reservoir spaces are proposed, which is more than the 10 minimum that is required. In addition, the site will be providing 7 parking spaces. So it meets finding A as I read it. With regards to finding B, that the drive-through facility will not create or contribute to serious traffic congestion and will not unduly inhibit surface traffic and pedestrian flow. In this case also, as it was similar in the prior special permit, it meets finding B because more than the required number of reservoir spaces, A is being proposed on the site. B, the subject site consists of, it did actually now the commercial use has been torn down. It is vacant right now. The subject site did consist of a commercial use, which also had a drive-through, though it was for a different use group, but it used the similar circulation patterns and entrance and exits. So I would say based on that, it would meet finding B. With regards to finding C, regarding the character of the commercial district fronting within 500 feet. So regarding this finding C, the finding requirement, while it has not changed from the former zoning resolution section 73-243, at the last hearing, I had asked the applicant to clarify the commercial district street that fronts street frontage within the 500 foot of the site. The reason I'm saying it is this, and what actually I was looking for is the following, is that the immediate commercial district street frontage where the subject site is located is along Hillside Avenue, extending from 197th to 198th Street, which is less than 300 foot long. Though there are legally non-conforming commercial uses and medical offices located beyond the commercial overlay, and furthermore, Hillside Avenue is a wide street with 6 moving lanes, and it is also a designated truck route. So in addition to prior and current use, on the side, which also had a drive-through, though not an eating and drinking establishment, I think combination of all of these factors would establish finding C. With regards to finding D, the drive-through facility shall not have an undue adverse effect, specifically with regards to air quality, impact of idling vehicles, and illumination from headline. This is a new finding from the previous special permit of 73-243. First of all, the applicant is proposing to install acoustical fence of 26 STC rating. And the applicant has provided an analysis that shows that the projected traffic volume will not exceed the SECRA threshold of 170 per hour vehicle trip during, peak hour vehicle trip. And the maximum drive-through peak is projected to be 128. So it is less than the threshold. And therefore, since it's below the threshold, the air quality impact there won't be an air quality impact. And with regards to the illumination, because of the high fence that is being proposed, 8 foot high opaque fence, I think the illumination from the headlights will also not be an impact. So it does meet finding D. With regards to finding E, that there will be adequate buffering and screening between the drive-through facility and adjacent residential uses, and then that the screening shall consist of densely planted vegetation, and may additionally include walls, barriers, or fence. Applicant is proposing an 8 foot wide landscaping. However, based on the landscaping, more taller plants need to be planted along the residential lot lines, especially along the eastern and the southern lot lines. 18-inch to 24-inch shrubs will not provide the screening from the abutting residential homes, which is what this text specifically is referring to. So those need to be taller trees. So it needs to be a combination of taller trees and shrubs, especially along those two frontages, eastern and the southern lot lines where the residential units, homes are located. I think overall the application is in very good shape. It's just finding E, focusing on the landscaping part of it, from my point of view. Vice Chair Shibata?
Thank you, Chair. I have no further comments on this.
Thank you. Commissioner Otley-Brown?
I also have no further comments.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. Two things. The first one is the AVC. I need him to add a note to the site plan that the AVC will be on all the time. This is for the noise. And the second one is the lighting diagram that is submitted this time. I see some like odd numbers. If you look at the lighting on L-001.
Let me just pull up the plan.
I'm sorry?
Let me just pull up the plan.
Sure. I can share my screen.
I would just put it up.
Oh, okay.
Zoom in.
I have it highlighted. If you let me share it, it might be easier. Yeah, these numbers, if you look at 1 second.
Please zoom in.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, thank
See,
you.
this is 41. And this is right next to the pool. But if you look at the way the main direction for shedding the light that way, same distance, 8.6, 41.8, same phenomena repeated here. 40, even this one is away from the pool. It's much far away from the pool. 44.9. Again here, 34. I'm not sure what is that, and I'm not sure how it drops from even 10 something to nothing just along this distance. So if you look at this distance, it drops from 10 to 3.7, but in this direction here, from 10.4 to nothing. And I'm not sure about the height for the for the light pole. I do believe, strongly believe that they need shielding for these lights on this side. So I'm waiting for them to clarify. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for noticing that. I did not see those high points. But it does seem very odd to have such a high number and then for it to drop to 10 and to 0. So going to Commissioner Shetta's point, please provide the height of the poles, the proposed height of the poles, and please do look at the lumen analysis and verify that the analysis, the methodology was done correctly. Either it's a typo or there was some incorrect entry of the data.
I believe it's a bug, probably with the software, or if they did it using spreadsheet, maybe it's an error in the spreadsheet. But even regarding the height of the pool over here, I looked at just the pool head. I didn't see any shielding lights, nor even on other drawings. But apparently the pools are taller than the fence, and if they are, and we have these numbers, then it's a problem for the neighbors.
Generally, poles tend to be taller than the
Then the fence.
fence.
Yeah.
But it's a question of how it's positioned and how the blinds are being provided. So the applicant can look into it
Yep.
and
Yep.
figure
Thank you.
that. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Commissioner Yoon.
It does show that they are 16 feet high, light
The-
number one.
Okay.
And then it shows where the shields would be located, but I do agree that the high points don't really make any sense. So I'll let the applicant clarify that.
Yeah.
But that information is on the drawing. I had no further comments other than that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Item number 25, 2024, 21BZ, 20425 Rockaway Point Boulevard, Queens.
So applicant has made its submission in response to the comments that were raised at the last hearing. Revised plan has been submitted clarifying the bulk waivers diagrammatically. Also, planting along the western residential lot line as requested by the neighbor has been included in the plans. Programmatic needs have been modified to address the runoff space for the proposed court and the need for a 30-foot high ceiling for the gymnasium structure. So regarding the parking waiver, per adopted ZHO use group 3B House of Worship, parking is not required. I want the applicant to revise the use group category in the zoning analysis at the statement of facts because it's referring to old use group. Also, I just want to make sure that since this is a complex that consists of house of worship, a community facility, and I think there's a parish, my very basic question, this is more of an academic question also, is at DOB and actually in the CO, how are these listed as a use group and the current CO? That is one question I would like to know. The second question is, academically, is typically when you have different uses, though, and the primary is, in this case, the primary use is the house of worship. And is that how DOB looks at it? And then the other uses are accessory uses to the primary use. My reason for asking that is really it affects the parking waiver because yes, per ZHO use group 3B House of Worship, parking is not required. However, if it were to be a community facility use, maybe it would have. So I would like the applicant to clarify that. However, I would say, going back to additional information that the applicant provided, was that, that the parking waiver, while it's not required, they do have an executed lease agreement, which runs till 2027 with Breezy Point Cooperative, and the subject church is allowed to use that facility. That means its visitors and can use the parking lot. So I think that would be fine should even the parking be required. regarding setting the proposed facility by an additional foot to create a continuous 6-foot wide sidewalk along the western lot line. Applicant provided its reason. And so I have a couple of my own thoughts. The placement of the proposed building is limited by many factors on the site. The distance between the existing church, sandy soil condition as represented by the applicant, and also maintaining landscaping along the western lot line per neighbor's request, and the programmatic need. So the existing facility is a 1-story high structure similar to the church height. The proposed facility will be a 2-story, 50-foot high structure, which will be taller than the church, and it will further block the western light to the church stained glass window that is located on the south and the west facade. And I was looking at some videos that I came across of prayer events that were happening in the church. It is a beautiful church, and there are not that many stained glass windows, but there are few, and they do definitely add to the beauty of the prayer room. So though a reduction of a foot between the building may not change the light flow, I understand the intent and trying to still retain that glow and the glorious feel of that space. So I'm okay with it. I do think a more convincing answer may have been that there are 2 exitways from the church that are located along the western side, and a reduction of a 1 foot between the church and the proposed facility would reduce the width at 2 pinch points where the exitways are located to, and I just did a very rough measurement from 4 foot 9 inches to 3 foot 9 inches. So I think keeping all of those in mind, I think the reduction of the width of the proposed building to achieve a 6-foot wide continuous side yard, even on the residential portion, definitely would defeat the whole intent of this application and would make the enlarging of this facility kind of meaningless. So I think based on all of my way of approaching this reason, I'm satisfied with the placement and the justification, and I'm satisfied with this application. Vice Chair Shibeta.
Thank you, Chair. I also think that the applicant did a great job. I'm satisfied with this application.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
I'm also satisfied with the application.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Shetta.
Thank you, Chair. I'm satisfied with the application. Just to add a note that they will comply with Appendix G, whatever applies from Appendix G. I understand this is not a residential, but at the end of the day, it's a community center. People may be existent at the lowest floor. So just add a note that it's going to be compliance with whatever applies from Appendix G.
Yep. Thank you. Commissioner Yoon.
Thanks. I was satisfied with the response. I'm satisfied with the application.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 26, 2024-49 BZ 3454 Nostrand Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay. In response to a letter of objection that we received from a neighbor regarding traffic queuing at Gravesend Avenue, applicant in its cover letter provided a detailed operational process, traffic circulation, and accumulation at the site on Gravesend Avenue. And I would say looking at various photos and being familiar with this site, over last 2 rounds of review, there really has not been any change to the surrounding site and the use has since the initial grant that was issued back in 2009 and subsequent renewals. And prior board had accepted the proposed drive-through, the location and the placement. So since there has been no change, I do not see any need to make modification to that. But I would say that the block front of Gravesend primarily consists of commercial uses, with active driveways and parking for these commercial uses. So, that's the predominant use, especially along this block front. Applicant did provide a traffic flow around the site and provided photos from Cyclomedia Street View since 2022, which is post-COVID. I did look at pre-COVID, during the COVID, there were some photos, and yes, there were a lot more vehicles that were back driving into this facility. But post-COVID, which is more of a normal present state of situation, it does show that there is not vehicular backup. And Gravesend is a one-way street, as the applicant stated, and there is no standing on the south side, and there's a bus drop-off and no parking on the north side. So with a one-way street, there is enough vehicular ability for vehicles to move through. And as the Cyclomedia showed, there aren't any vehicles backing into the street. And so the applicant represents that the Starbucks implements technology based on operational plan to reduce queuing. And board in other Starbucks location has seen that being applied to improve the flow. And I would say in this case also the same thing would help in as and when it's needed and put to use. Also, the applicant has installed a stop sign, which I think was important, that needed to be done at the exit point from the drive-through lane, and the revised plan reflects that. So based on all of this information that is provided, I'm satisfied with the response and the application. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. No further comments. I'm satisfied with this application.
Okay. Commissioner Otley Brown.
I'm also satisfied with this application.
Thank you. Commissioner Shetta.
Thank you, Chair. They added the note regarding the AVC will be on all the times. I want to thank him for that. I just want to throw the attention of the board that when looking, and I didn't talk about this during the previous hearing, when looking at the luminous spread, this is kind of the opposite that concerns us. Usually we get concerned when the values are high, but looking at this luminous spread, it's kind of like all zeros. I'm not sure if this is something that would be acceptable to us, safety perspective, but if
So as you know, this is something the prior board had required that it should be at a 0-0. I think
no, I'm not talking. No, I'm sorry. I wanted to save your time. I'm not talking about the zero at the lot line. If you look at the luminous spread, you're gonna see zeros inside the site even.
Right.
And when you go from lights on, lights off, and I don't know why they're still submitting this way, but when you go from lights off and then lights on at 0, 3 feet top of the fence, it's all zeros. It sounds like the lights on site are not like emitting any candles or any foot candles. If you want me show it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You see here.
Familiar with the history of it, and unfortunately,
Yeah, I recall. You see, this is lights off, zeros, but even if you go to the lights on one, this is lights off. Lights on at 3 feet, you can see that here it's even zeros, almost. Right here we have some values. I'm okay with them, but even if you proceed, it's kind of like safety is my concern. I'm not saying that they are exceeding or there is an exceedance, but I'm concerned about safety. I'm not sure if this is still the case for the lighting, but if it is and we've approved it before, I'm okay with it. But I just wanted to put it in the record so the applicant is aware of that.
So yes, we did. Prior board did require a 0 and
right here at the property line here.
Well, right at the property line.
Yeah.
And I do remember this project did go through quite a bit of
Yes.
intense review of on, off, at 3 foot high, at 6 foot
Yes,
high,
yes.
at
And
0.
then the top of the fence, yes.
Right, so, so I think whatever the applicant has at this point, if that's what they want to maintain, they're okay. I'm not going to say anything, but the board over time has recognized that maintaining a 0 foot at the property line, as we had heard from many
Is
of
a
the
requirement, yes.
is big borderlines on it being dark and not
Yeah,
safe.
yeah.
And so we had we recognized that and we said, well, maybe it should be no more than 2. And if applicant wants to change it to 2, they're okay with it. We can add a note here in the plan saying that the lights at the lot line shall be no more than 2 candles. And if the applicant wants to revise and modify that, that's okay.
That would be a good idea. Yeah.
Okay?
Just in case if they realize that it's dark and you want to add some lights, they are limited to 2. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine. Thank you.
okay. It's it is a little bit of a process of learning from so that was a lesson that we learned. So just add a note that no more than 2
No more than 2 what?
foot candle. Yeah,
candle.
foot
2 foot
candle.
candle, okay.
Yeah,
At the property line.
At the property line?
yeah. Yeah,
No more than 2 foot candle at the property.
yeah.
And that's no comment on the lighting interior to the site.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Commissioner Yoon.
I have nothing further.
Okay, this
Okay, thank
concludes
you.
the, finish?
Yes.
Okay, this concludes the review session for January 28th, 2025.
So we're at 10:32, so let's
minutes.
convene in 10 minutes.
And
So,
about 10 minutes,
let's make it 10:45, just make it easy.
10:45?
Yeah, 10:45.
Okay, we're resuming,
Give-
10:45, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
give the team to. Yeah. And I can go back to the emails I missed. Okay, so you said there was an email that was sent. Okay, thank you.
We can still hear you.
Are we ready to proceed?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Matias, we are live, we are recording, we are streaming. You may proceed with the public hearing.
Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals public hearing for January 28th, 2025. Please note for the record that Commissioner Sheta and Commissioner Shabeta are joining us remotely. The first item up is appeals calendar, new cases, item number 23, 2024, 54A through 56A, 104, 106 Fleet Place, 165 Willoughby Street, Brooklyn.
I just let Mr.
Curtin.
Steinhaus.
Yeah. And Mr.
Here?
Colgate,
Yeah. Yeah, he's in.
James Colgate.
Mr. Steinhaus, is anybody else from your team that needs?
James
to-
Colgate.
Oh, there. I see.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Both.
Okay, as this is an appeals case, we don't have to swear them in. So once Mr. Colgate is in, you may state your name for the record and proceed and respond to the board's comments.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners and staff. James Colgate from BCLP, and on behalf of owner 102 Fleet Place LLC, I would just like to introduce Kurt Steinhaus, who will be responding to the board with the one comment they had on the application.
So we submitted a revised statement of facts and findings this morning, correcting the lot number. We heard the board's other comments, and if there are no further comments, we would respectfully request that the board close and decide this application.
We did receive the.
Oh, sorry.
No, we
Can you
did.
hear us, Kurt?
My microphone was
Oh,
off. We did receive it. It
Okay.
was super expeditious, as I would call it. And the proof of, yes, I did see the proof of initial filing. It's all there. From our end, it looks good. It's good to see both of you. I first want to go to our Deputy Chief Velez from Fire Department. Deputy Chief, did you have, does Fire Department have any comment on this? Is Deputy Chief there?
I don't know. I emailed you.
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning. Good morning to you. Yeah, as far as this application, which part of the application?
Yeah.
On Fleet Place, Willoughby Street?
I believe we had no comment. I reviewed it and I didn't see anything that seemed as important to the fire department.
I'm sorry, can you clarify, sir?
Yeah, fire department had no comment.
Fire Department has no comment. Could you submit that in writing to us, Deputy Chief?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty. We have to go to the public.
Yeah,
before
we're
we-
still waiting for DOT though.
Yeah,
Kurt.
we're still waiting for
Sorry.
DOT.
I'm trying.
But I think from all aspects, I would be comfortable closing it, but we don't do close and vote, as you know, but we will close it now. But let's go to the public first.
The case we're currently discussing is 669. 2024-54A through 2024-56A, 104, 106 Fleet Place, Willoughby Street. If you wish to comment on this case, dial 669-254-5252. And you will, at the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 161-270-2420 and press the pound sign. Excuse me, at the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, we'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Oh. Oops. All right.
No one raised their hands. and no one
Nobody
called
raised
in.
their hand, nobody called in. I'm going to make a motion to close.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Shetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
We will schedule it, we anyway have, the next hearing is February, 10th, February 10th. We will schedule it for February 10th.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Zoning calendar, continued hearing items, item number 24, 2023, 58 BZ, 19718 Hillside Avenue, Queens.
That would be Mr. Dale. I've let him in.
Good morning, Todd Dale.
Is anyone with you, Mr. Dale?
Just myself today.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do so affirm.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Good morning, Todd Dale for the applicant. Did listen to review session and appears there were two primary issues that were raised. I can respond to them now and follow up in writing as needed. First, with respect to the landscaping, just wanted to confirm for you, Chair, that the proposed landscaping will have a range of 6 feet to 10 feet in height. If you, maybe I can describe, it might be easier, or maybe a combination of sharing the screens, but if you look at the landscaping plan, which is P-110, and it lists the proposed planting schedule for the shrubs, the smaller shrubs, which have the 18 to 24 inch height, the ICC, which are designated, would be up adjacent to the building. Those are only 18 to 24 feet in height. The other two shrubs that are listed, the spread's listed, but not the height. If you actually, the easiest thing might be to do is just, if you Google dwarf Burford holly, you'll see the very first thing that comes up is it says it grows to a height of 6 to 8 feet. And then if you grow or Google Manhattan Euonymus, those go to 8 feet to 10 feet. So if you look at the plan, the shrubs that are proposed along the border, which are labeled ICD, are the dwarf Burford holly, and those are going to get to the 6 to 8 foot height. And then the ones that are labeled EK, or the Manhattan Euonymus, and those are 8 to 10 feet. And those are the taller ones that are back in the corner, and then also the separation between the drive-through and the parking. So I think it's a valid point you raise. We wouldn't want to have 2 foot to 3 foot shrubs, but these are all in sort of the 6 to 10 foot range. It's just the spread is listed in the diagram. The height's not listed. I just wanted to, clarify for you that the height's there.
Yeah, I think that chart seems to indicate, I read those as heights.
Yeah, I was told it's the spread. So if you plant one, so the 4 foot on center, the base will be 4 feet apart, and then they're proposed to grow 2 to 3 feet out. And that the spread was indicated to show that if you plant them 4 feet apart from each other, that they'll grow. So they'll basically create adjacency, basically like a wall of shrubs. The height's not listed. But as I said, if you Google, you'll see that the height for the holly and the anonymous range from 6 feet to 10 feet.
Thank you for the clarification.
Sure. The other question that was raised, unfortunately, I did not get an answer in time, but I agree it is a little unusual that the lumen spread diagram does have these high figures near the lights. I reached out, I was not able to get a response this morning, so unfortunately, we're going to have to follow up in a written submission. I don't know if it is just a model irregularity that caused that. I would note, though, that if you do look at the proposed area lights with shields, that if you blow up the plan, it does indicate the red lines of where the shields are proposed by all of these lights. So the ones that are adjacent to the residences have shields either on one side or 3 sides, depending on where the light poles are indicated. So all of the exterior lighting on the poles, which will be on the 16-foot mounting height, do have shields proposed facing the outer boundary of all the different sites. And as indicated on the lumen spread diagram, the spillover is shown as 0.0 on all of the adjacent lots due to the proposed light shielding. So I'll still see if I can figure out what happened with these figures to provide a little bit more information. But I would say that the most important thing to take out of this is that the shielding is shown and that the result of the shielding would be no spill based on the lumen diagram that was presented.
If that's the case, I understand what you're saying. And if I'm looking at the one that's in the center of the rear lot line,
Sure.
Underneath the line, light, it's 30 something. Whereas to the right of it, it increases to 41.8. So the shield is behind it. So I understand so I think there is something funny in the way it's been analyzed, but I see where the shield is and that the numbers in front of it are going to be higher. It's just that the bumps are very unrealistic bumps. That's all.
No, I agree with you. And as I said, I had hoped to get clarity for you this morning, unfortunately not. But so I can follow up in a cover letter to explain it. I just wanted big picture to assure you that the shields are proposed and designed to limit any spillover on the adjacent residential uses.
Okay. And I would say also revise the plans accordingly.
Revise them.
The lumen, if
there's a figure, for sure, yes, 100%, yes.
Yeah. If there's something wrong in the modeling, or some little glitch.
We'll definitely check on it.
Okay, all right.
Those were the 2 primary issues that were raised. I don't know what the status of if there's a DOT sign off required and if it's still pending, but other than that, we believe that we've addressed the required findings.
Okay. Who's the partner? Jeline. Jeline, do we have any update from DOT on this? Let's look for the notes.
Portella.
There was a draft comment that was submitted. DOT had a draft comment from October 22, 2024. Was that responded to?
Ms. Pringa?
Hi. Jeline sent a request for review on January 15th. January 15th. So this was sent to DOT. So they did submit revised materials and it was sent to DOT by the project manager on January 15th. So it's still under review by DOT.
Okay. 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 Let's go. Any other questions? Let's go to the public then.
The case that we're currently discussing is 2023-58 BZ 19718 Hillside Avenue, Queens. Should you wish to comment, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 161-270-2420 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
I think in this case, I would feel more comfortable scheduling it once we have a response from DOT, rather than trying to schedule something and then having to postpone it. Mr. Dale?
There's no possibility of a closure and, setting a date, because I believe that the zoning issues, I don't want to speak for the board, but I believe we've addressed the issues pending this light modeling question. And the last response that was submitted was not an extensive list of comments that the traffic engineer responded to and, were sent in January. I understand the board's, rules and procedures, but if there is any possibility of a closure, it would just help expedite the decision process later.
Understand that. It is part, and that's one of the things I'm actually looking at. Yeah. So per zoning resolution section 7303D, it says for applications relating to section 73-311 drive-through facilities, DOT report with respect to anticipated traffic congestion resulting from such special permit or use modification. So we do have to give DOT a little bit of, we do need to hear back from DOT on this. So it's kind of unfortunate, but that's part of the 7300. So
I would note that it says the board in its discretion. So I don't know if there's a statutory requirement. I mean, I understand if it can't be closed. I would, though, in this particular instance, because I believe that the majority of questions have responded. It just, because of, business concerns, adding an extra, 2 agenda items from here, to have to close it and then to set a decision date, it would just be greatly appreciated to expedite this just a little bit.
So this is where we stand. It is at DOT, and DOT will respond back. And if DOT responds back that requires it to be modified or revised, we would have to open it and have to have it reviewed and revised. So we could do it that way, but there would be a delay. I mean, it's a risk that you're taking, but one of my fear is when we do this, next applicant will be requesting the same thing and it sets a precedence. And the prior use that was there, while it was not a drive-through facility, which did not undergo any review, had that been the situation, we would have been more inclined to close it because we know it's a previous drive-through that has undergone reviews at DOT and there has been no issues. In this case, it's a blank slate. So I understand your business decision and concern. I really wish I could, but as you know it, and you are one of the many applicants, and I think you will understand why I'm being very hard pressed to close it, because it would set a precedence.
understood. And I appreciate that understood. I did want to ask, and thank you for the explanation. That noted, I understand the board's calendar is full, but because our hope is that there would be minimal review, if there's anything they could do to schedule this then for the next appearance as soon as possible, that also would be appreciated. But I understand there are issues and, the board's calendar is always full.
Yeah, no, that we will do. What I would do is try to have our team follow up with DOT and try to get a response on this as quickly as possible. And we will try to hold a date on our calendar so that we can try to marry the two things together as quickly as possible.
Great. Thank you very much. It's very much appreciated.
Yeah, and do please stay in touch with our project manager as and when things are happening and you know who to reach. So. Okay.
Understood, and they never have to fear me not being in touch with them.
We know. Yes, we will do our best.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Steph.
Okay.
Item number 25, 2024, 20.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Yeah.
2024-21 BZ 204-25 Rockaway Point Boulevard, Queens.
Okay, this is Alexia. Is there anyone else from your team?
No, it's just me today.
Okay. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do. Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. We have attended the executive session and wanted to address the board's comments with regards to the parking question. We discussed this internally, and the community facility or the multi-purpose accessory building is just that. It's an accessory building to the church. They have church groups going to be utilizing the space as well as for games. And so on the certificate of occupancy, it would be categorized as 3B. And so we believe that the parking is waived under that use group. And as you had mentioned in the executive session, we also do provide parking across the street. So we've tried to cover all of those bases. With regards to the statement of facts, we will change the use group to reflect the City of Yes. And we will also add an additional note on the plans that we will apply Appendix G to the site. I believe those were the outstanding comments from the board. And we just want to thank you all for taking the time to review this application, going back and forth with us on the setbacks and all of the other various discussions. And we really appreciate the board's attentiveness.
Yes, and thank you for listening to the comments and revising them. Appreciate that. Any questions?
You broke up a little bit.
Yes, Madam Chair.
I broke up.
Do you have your mic on? Mic is on.
No, my mic is on. Okay.
Now it's good. Now it's good.
All I was saying is, yes, thank you for your responsive submission to all our comments. And we wish you all success. But before we do that, we need to, before we close on it, we need to go to the public. Are there any questions or comments for? No. Okay, let's go to the public.
The case
I believe Jella has her hand up. I'm so sorry.
Jella, you still have your hand up?
Yes, I did want to say one quick thing.
Oh, go ahead.
We have an EAS, an extensive EAS we received. And we got it after hours on Friday. I've looked through it, but I need to discuss it with Tracy. She's out. But I believe most of these technical areas may screen out. I did send it for WRP because it is within the consistency area. They do have an LPC sign off already that they got themselves. Looks like a thorough EAS.
And what about WRP?
Well, I sent it for WRP because it does need a review from WRP group. But the other ones we can discuss with Tracy internally on the other technical areas. It may screen out of many reviews due to the increment of the existing condition. So
All right, thank you. Thank you for that update, Jella. Okay. Let's then go to the public.
Okay, the case that we're currently discussing is 2024-21 BZ 204-25 Rockaway Point Boulevard, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 161-270-2420. Press the pound. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as they're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss. Yeah, I need a statement of facts from us. They should submit one.
Right, okay, good point. Our deputy counsel is suggesting that the statement of fact also reflect the accessory use of the community facility. Clarify in the statement of fact, and that this would be necessary to the primary use, which is a church, and it would be retained as a use group 3, and per definition of zoning resolution.
Sure, we can make that addition into the statement.
Okay.
Jella, is this the first EAS we've received or the first checklist or any submission on seeker we received?
Hi, we did have an EAS on file, but we had issued comments on it. We needed a lot of additional information for the technical areas, such as, hazardous materials, natural resources, WRP, air quality, noise, things like that. So they just addressed all of those comments. But because of the nature of the project, it may screen out of some of these reviews, but we have a lot of information on these technical areas.
I just found the April.
Yeah.
Okay, so no one called in.
No one called in. So thank you, Jella, for providing a very thorough update on the EAS. This is a variance case, right?
Yes.
So it has met the findings of 7221. I think the board was satisfied with the findings. So I would recommend that we close the hearing, but keep the record open. Huh? No, but the record remains open until
It may screen out of the air quality and noise based on some of the information we received, but we would have to figure that out. We may talk to DEP about that, but it's not like a school a school special permit.
Yeah.
Where it impacts the findings.
Okay. So we are going to close it, keep the record open, and
Okay, Chair.
And you will make those corrections to the statement.
Yes, we'll submit those corrections, and I believe GZA will be in touch with Jella just as far as DEP concerns and EAS. And once we finalize that, we will schedule a decision hearing.
Yes.
Motion to close, Chair Shanda.
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta.
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta.
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Okay. Final
Thank you
item.
very much.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, Ms. Landsman. Item number 26, 2024-49 BZ, 3454 Nostrand Avenue, Brooklyn.
I just let Ms. Fullader in. Is there anyone else from your team?
Hi, Joseph as well, if you see him, D'Amato.
I do.
Okay, and there's a Mr. A Young. I don't pronounce, I apologize for pronunciation of your name. Is that person in this case?
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so he's not with you. Okay, we'll leave them for the public. Okay, raise your right hands. Please unmute Mr. D'Amato. Thank you. Please raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Elise Fullader from Eric Polanic PC. We wanted to thank you so much for your thorough review of this application. I know Joseph is on to thank you as well. And we also want to thank you for rethinking about the lighting, and we are happy to add that note. Commissioner Sheta, if you could do us a favor and just let us know exactly what note you think is appropriate on the plans, just so the wording is correct, we are happy to add that to the plans.
Yeah. Will do. We will send you a note.
Just because it's a newer note that we haven't done.
So that we actually.
Yeah, I'll just double check with
We-
Commissioner
we-
Sheta.
I seem to have.
I'm editing it right now. I'm writing the note right now.
Yeah, you can send it to me, Commissioner Sheta, and then I will.
Right, that's what I'm gonna do.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions or comments? All right, let's then go to the public.
Okay, the case, I'm waiting for John to bring the sheet. Okay, the case that we're currently discussing is 2024-49 BZ, 3554 Nostrand Avenue, Brooklyn. Should you wish to comment on this case, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the WebEx ID number 161-270-2420 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone to be heard. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss. Excuse me.
How much time will it take for you to make that correction? I know it won't take you very long, but I have to ask.
Joseph, would you like to speak on how long it would take?
You can have it corrected quickly. I mean, I'll have it done by the end of today.
As long as we get a copy. So give us 2 days.
Yeah, there's also the foot
Right.
candle note.
And the
Right.
ABC note, yeah, both of those notes.
The ABC note was put on already.
It was already on?
That's what I thought Commissioner Sheta saw it. We added it in a subsequent submission with the DOB objection.
Yes, it's added, yes. I said thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misunderstood that, sir.
I'm going to schedule this for February 24th because we have quite a full agenda for February 10th, and we have a lot of closing cases. So I'm going to schedule this for February 6th. Sorry, submission date February 6th, February 24th, 25th hearing.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So we're not closing.
No, we are closing it.
Oh, you are going to close?
We're
Okay.
closing it and we'll schedule this for vote 24th,
Okay.
February 24th, 25th.
So shall I call it?
Yes.
Motion to close, Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown. Aye. Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you
Fullader.
so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Take
This
care.
concludes the public hearing for January 28th, Mr. Young, unfortunately, if you haven't heard your case, I don't know what other case you're calling on. He's in the room, so he didn't raise his hand. Okay, thank you.
We did have a hearing yesterday, so if you are calling regarding a case that we had heard, you can go to our website and look at the video of the case that you're interested in or heard yesterday. And if you have any comments on a case that is still open, please do submit a letter expressing your recommendations or concerns, submit at bsa.nyc.gov.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So this concludes the public hearing for January 28th, 2025. Oy.
Month
Thank
of
you.
January.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.